Hey, we are live.
Hi.
Welcome to the kickoff show of The Unheralded Entrepreneur. This is a podcast for business owners, directors of community organizations, ministry leaders, anybody who has a business and who has experiences to share with the audience. So today I have with me my sister Macie Anderson. She's going to be co-hosting some of my podcast interviews that are scheduled for this summer. But today she is here as the host, and she will be gotta go live on Facebook. Anyway, she will be doing the interview for me today. So she will be interviewing me, asking me the questions. If you guys have any questions, we're on two screens. If I'm looking over here at Facebook, it's because I'm recording on my YouTube channel. So if you have any questions for me about the business or for Macie, who will be interviewing me today, please feel free to drop them. And as we see them, we will try to get to them. So we'll start.
All right. So she just introduced herself as the owner and host of Unheralded. I always say Unprovoked, and it's always wrong. Entrepreneurs, but that's not the only business she has. So if you want to tell me the other businesses, I know, but the people might not. So
Okay. Hey, Tosh. So I actually have Executive Edge, which is the parent company of all my other sub companies or hobbies that I do. So Executive Edge is communications design. And underneath that umbrella, I have my social responsibility portion of my business, which is Young and Gifted Community Collaborative. So that's underneath. And with that, what I do is try to join or collaborate with other companies or organizations that share the same mission. And the mission is to advance the community and also to and enrichment for youth. So if you have anything like that, I used to have volunteers that came out with me, but we kind of lost touch throughout the years. But if you have any events that are youth oriented or community oriented, and you need a volunteer or somebody to come and work the table or anything like that, that's where Young and Gifted Community Collaborative comes in. Also underneath Executive Edge, I have my apparel brand, which is Cool Kids Exclusives. I actually picked that name because I started all of this for my children and also for my sisters to carry on the business if they were interested in doing stuff like that. I try to start things and then kind of like show them the works and kind of pass it off. So Cool Kids Exclusives is the apparel brand
somewhere back here.
Yeah. And then Young and Gifted Community Collaborative. And then I have public notary. I'm a public notary from Mahoney County. So that's duly noted. So that's duly noted LLC is also underneath Executive Edge. And then aside from Executive Edge,
this is a lot of business. It's a lot of business. That's a good thing.
Aside from Executive Edge, I took my testing to become a certified mixologist. So I have Getting Cocky Mixology Group as well, but that's not underneath the umbrella of.
But the drinks are good. I will give y'all that. The drinks are delicious. So, was that it? That was all the businesses, right?
I think that's it. I think that's
all
it.
50 of them. I think that was it.
But in the business I started for Rain.
Yes.
That's Jewelry Rain.
Jewelry Rain, which are my niece, her daughter, which is Naya's niece too, because her daughter is in there too. That's the other sister you don't see on screen now. But it sounds like you do. It sounds like you do a lot with the youth. You want to tell people like what is it that makes you driven to do a lot of stuff with the youth for youth? Like where did that come from?
That came from me as a young person growing up in church. The youth were kind of always gravitating towards me, wanting to do things with me. it started actually at my former church, Rising Star, where I started a youth dance, gospel dance group called Just Us Two. There was Just Us, which I was a part of, liturgical dance at the church, and then I started Just Us Two. And so that was a lot of my involvement when I was at Rising Star. A lot of my involvement with youth started there with that group. And then I also worked at Heart Reach Ministries. I worked there with their Super Kids after school program and summer program. At Rising Star, I was always doing stuff with the youth. I was over the junior church for a little while. And just trying to keep things exciting and keep things and encouraging them to stay not only in church, but to stay vocal about the stuff that they were going through, giving them an ear to have somebody to talk to about the things that they were going through and stuff like that. So it all originated there, and I just kind of always had a passion for young people.
Well, Just Us Two, they used to boogie in church. Those the people with the different moves than the rest of the crew. We all doing one dance, and they have their own dance routine, showing off. But it was really fun. Rising Star did have like a lot of kids, more than I've seen at a lot of churches, and just being in the Easter play with them for the most part, like it really brought a lot of people together. So I can see why the youth would be so driven to somebody who would listen and was a part of stuff. It's real easy to talk to somebody who you always see, who you always up under. You know, being a part of things just make it that much easier. So as far as the podcast, what made you want to start the podcast?
I wanted to start the podcast because my boyfriend is actually an avid fan of Drink Champs. If y'all don't know what that is, that's it's a podcast that's live. I think it's playing on Revolt now, but it's with Noriega, the rapper. He started it, and he basically wanted a platform for legends in hip hop. So, because he felt like, you know, they weren't getting enough attention while they were living. And so he wanted to start a podcast while people were alive to interview them and kind of to give them their flowers while they were still here, which is what he always says. So the idea for the podcast came from that. But I didn't want to do a gossip or a grungy or, you know, a negative podcast. I wanted my podcast to be about businesses, experiences in business and opening a business and operating your business in our area, which is Youngstown, Ohio. So I wanted to do something for business owners or people who maybe owned a business for a while, but don't have a platform to get advertisement for their products and their services out. So I wanted to kind of start the podcast. That's the reason why I started.
So you say like a podcast to give people a platform on how they open their business, how they run their business. What are some of the like obstacles you faced as a business owner, and how did you kind of overcome them, if you have overcome them?
Well, you never overcome as a business owner. You never overcome. You always have possibilities, opportunities to improve customer service and different things like that. When I started my business back in 2010, a lot of the stuff that I learned was when I went to YSU for information technology. And also I did a bit at, what's the art school online? You remember? AI.
I know what you're talking about.
But anyway, I did a little bit of classes there, YSU, and then I did classes at National College. And I was always interested in computers. I was always interested in computers and computer software. And I started actually working with like files and different things like that and documentation and stuff and formatting, creating invitations for my sons who are now grown adults now. But back then they were little, and it started like that. The obstacles that I faced opening up my business is I didn't have a lot of information. And if you all are watching and you all live in Youngstown, you know how hard it could be to get information out of people. They don't want to share information
with the tightest ball.
They don't want to share information with you or anything like that. So a lot of it, I basically, SCORE was really good for me. SCORE within YSU. At the time when I was opening up my business, they weren't at YSU in Williamson yet.
Can you tell them about SCORE? Like some people might not.
Yeah, so SCORE is basically an organization that was started by retired business owners, like business owners who had businesses for years and for some reason they closed or they just got out of the business. But they give you tips. They give you tips and they give you information. They're not lawyers or anything like that. They're just people who have experienced the things that you might be facing, and they're willing to help. So a lot of the information about actually starting and operating a business, I got from, and it's free. Going to SCORE is free. I got from them, and they helped me out a lot, like as far as like writing contracts and agreements and different things like that, making sure I had the right paperwork and things for my business.
So if that was your obstacle, I know like a lot of people one because it is a lot. Like trying to start this like my own podcast it is difficult. You do find it hard to find people who want to give you information because sometimes you get those people that have this pick yourself up by your boots mentality, by your bootstraps, or this I struggled so you have to make it, which is negative. You don't necessarily have to struggle.
Right.
You know, if you could keep somebody from hitting that same obstacle, just tell them. But aside from that, what was one of the greatest takeaways so far? Like, what was the most positive takeaway you have from starting your business? Is it the connections you made or something else?
Yeah, basically, it's the people I meet, the people that I can help. I have people that have businesses or are starting businesses or in business that reach out to me all the time. And I don't charge for consultations right now. I don't charge people for that. And people always be like, "Oh, Danielle, you need to start charging people for stuff." But I know how I was when I was starting out, and you have to put a lot of your own personal money because I have, aside from all of those businesses, I still have a full-time job. So it's hard. It's hard, and you don't always have the money to pay for anything. So the biggest takeaway is just being able to help where I can, who I can, and then seeing them thrive in business.
Right. So you say that, you still have a full-time job.
Yes.
Very full-time job, because I ask a lot of questions about her job when it's not even her job. But how do you kind of manage working a full-time job and business and being a mom, especially to a toddler now?
Yes.
It's not the grown kids. They out. They them for yourself, figure it out. But you have a toddler, you have a full-time job and a business. Like, how do you make it work? How do you make it? How do you not snatch out the rest of your hair that you do not cut off?
Well, prayer. A lot of it is prayer. Prayer. And then I have a great support system. Like my boyfriend, you guys, my sisters, my mom, everybody kind of lends a helping hand when I need it. Having a home-based business, though, is also a help because I can do, like a station. This is my office. We're standing in right now. This is my office in my home. So it's, I work my full-time job during the day, and then I don't have really standard hours for my business because it's home-based. So I just come home and work on what I have to do.
The best.
Yeah, the best way I can.
So it is a lot of people coming out with podcasts now. I'm trying to get a podcast. I know there are a lot of podcasts popping up in Youngstown area. And people are trying to make that their business. What do you say to the people who are the naysayers of everybody? Everybody does the same thing. I wish y'all would do something different. Like, what do you say to those type of statements? Like, how do you?
I don't really pay attention to that. Like, I don't really. People are gonna talk. People are gonna talk. And regardless, people are gonna say stuff negative. the thing that I would tell any other business owner that might be facing that or might be kind of struggling with that is tune it out. And if those people are around you, get those people from around you, because you need you need positive people around you. You need people around you who are going to encourage you. But as far as what I say to that, everybody might be doing the same thing, because not even with the podcast, even with some of the stuff that I do with my business, like a lot of people are coming out with t-shirt businesses or apparel businesses or our own clothing lines and stuff like that, and that's great. I love to see it. Like, I don't look at any of it as competition, because like we've already been over, I have my full-time job, I have this, I have it. So it's I'm not always going to be available for people to get their shirts made or to interview for a podcast, anything like that. So I don't really pay attention to that. I just do what I can for who I can, do the best I can when somebody comes to me for a job or something like that, and I just do the best I can.
Exactly. Doing the best you can is all you can do. And if you don't like it, it's like you say, it's a whole bunch of people that do the same stuff. So if you want to find somebody else to do it, find somebody else with a cheaper price. So it kind of brings me to my next question.
Oh Lord, I know what it is.
You know what it is, and you should have known I was gonna ask it. People who have this negative thinking of, especially at this time where we have buy and promote Black businesses, but a lot of people have the main two comments and statements that I hear people always say about Black businesses. They're too pricey, and their customer service sucks. Like, I don't understand how you tell somebody else what their price should be, especially when you don't do the work, when you ain't buying the products. All you got to do is buy a shirt and bring it here, or whatever else. Right. So how do you kind of, not in the negative way of, well, then go somewhere else, but how do you kind of get those people to just be like, well, this is my price, and it is what it is, and just be.
Well, I used to, and I just had this conversation with a young lady the other day. I used to like try everything to get the customer. I wanted to get the sale, I wanted to get the customer or whatever. So I used to try everything. If they said, well, I could go over here and get it, I try to make it cheaper so they would get it with me. But then I ended up being myself. Being myself, because I would pay all of this money for the materials and stuff that I need for their request, and I wouldn't make a profit. So I learned how to say no. I learned how to let go of a sale
and take your business elsewhere if you need to.
Yeah, and I would
try to make me fix up. When they mess it up, don't bring it back to me. Asking me to fix what they made a mistake.
I say a lot of stuff in my head, but I don't let it come out of my mouth, because
that's me.
Because customer service is key. Customer service is key. So I how I handle that is, I tell people, you can get it. I try to tell them the truth about the business, because a lot of people, especially t-shirts, when somebody wants a t-shirt, they don't really understand all that goes into printing.
They just think it's printed and then it's done.
Not only that, they think you got shirts at home that you're storing, which I don't. I have machines and stuff at home, but I only do 2 types of processing. I only do vinyl and transfer. Yes. And when I say that to people, they be like, oh, well, what is that? So everybody, I kind of have to educate at the same time that I sell, because a lot of people don't know the difference between stuff that I have.
So what is the difference, just in case they watching and they want to ask?
The difference between, it's a lot. So there's vinyl, which is basically just a sheet of kind of plastic, which is like these letters that are here. It's just a sheet of single color vinyl. And you can get vinyl in specialties like this glitter on the shirt that I have here. I created this shirt, by the way. So this is vinyl. And then there's a process called transfer paper. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's paper you print out from the computer. And it holds a lot of colors and a lot of detail and stuff like that. But the only thing that I tell people with transfer paper is you have a white outline, not a big white square, because I hate when people print stuff and they put it on and it's a big white square behind it.
I hate it.
So not that. I actually try to cut around, the edge of the design or whatever, so it doesn't look that bad. But those are the only two that I do from home. But then there's direct to garment, which is like a big printer that prints out a design directly on a shirt. There is screen print, which is basically paint, where they design each screen for each color and they apply on top of apply on top of
So
apply.
what is Cricut? Like the people who use Cricut, what does that?
So Cricut is basically, it's the software is a design software. You can either use their templates or it's a cutter. So for the vinyl, like all of this lettering and stuff is actually designed first, and then the plastic is cut out on the Cricut machine.
Okay. Oh, well, that is a lot.
It is a lot.
And that's why you pay the price you're told.
Yes. So back to your original question. So people don't understand what all goes in. Like, I have my equipment, I have my materials. I don't have shirts at home, so I have to purchase your shirts. I don't have, like a lot of places like Custom Ink, they don't have an overhead like I would have at home because I have to pay my electric bill, and all this stuff. So they don't have an overhead like that. So if my price is higher, it's because of that. So
people need to know, pay for what you want. That's one thing. A lot of people, they literally, because tattoos, for example. Oh, I would never go to so-and-so who do y'all tattoos. Y'all pay $150. And your tattoos look like calligraphy. So now that's why you pay $20 and you walking around with SpongeBob doodling on you. And it's supposed to be a portrait of your great grandma and it looks like the Crypt Keeper. So pay for what you want. Quit being cheap. If the shirts cost $25, I mean, it's $25, it's good work. And people, aside from all that, it's time. You pay anybody for their time. If you go to work and your employer is like, we don't want to pay you $14 an hour today. Y'all don't want to see me tomorrow. Like, you're not going to pay me. I just won't be here. So was that really a hard transition from going to doing everything and then being like, no, my price is
it was because I like for people to like my work, to use my work. Mm-hmm. I like for people to use my business. I like for people to refer my business. So it was hard. It was a hard thing to, to turn away sales and stuff like that. But I had to remember my training in business management. I had to remember my talks with people who had businesses and stuff like that. Basically, it'll be greater later. Mm-hmm. You saying no now, but you'll see why in the end. Saying no is okay and sometimes can be better for your business.
So what do you think it is that makes your businesses different? Like, what sets you apart from other businesses?
I think, and if you guys think anything different, feel free to leave your
comment. Because we don't want that negativity here.
No, they can comment. I can answer. I think I give good customer service. I talk to people. I kind of try to understand what it is that they really want, especially when it comes to designing something for their business, for marketing or something like that. I try not to ever use templates or something that's already created.
So not rushed.
So I actually try to, for the most part, is custom. So I actually design it myself. And I design it so that it doesn't look like somebody else's work. And I don't take other images from the internet. And, I try not to do that. I mean, people ask me as far as t-shirts and stuff like that. People ask me to print things that were made by other people and stuff like that. Sometimes you can get away with it. Sometimes you can't. A lot of other stuff behind business goes into that, trademarking and copyright and stuff like that. But my niche is I try to listen to the customer. I call my people clients. I don't call them customers. But I try to listen to the client. I try to visualize or visualize what their vision is for their business. And I try to bring that out with every design that I do.
All right. So let me see how much I'm doing because I'm pretty good. So I'm trying to see what my last question wants to be. For the people watching, I don't see any questions, which, I mean, they might come back later and watch it, come back with questions or whatever. But for the people that are watching, What is it that you would want them to take away from, just this discussion about business, and especially in this time, like what is it that you want people to understand about being a business person?
In this time with COVID-19, I think that's what you're talking about. In this time going around, I would say go hard for your business. If this is the perfect time, especially if you're not working or you're working from home. This is the time to go hard for your business. This is the time for you to, if you're thinking about doing that LLC, get it done. It's not, that hard to do. I also help with that. I do.
So how much does it cost?
So I charge $10 per filing form. So there's only one form for LLC, and you can do it online. Now the state of Ohio charges their own fees for actually registering your business and stuff like that. But I walk you through that if that's something that you need to do. But I would say go hard for your business. If you have a product or are sitting on a product that you're waiting to release, now is the time to release it. I also help with marketing, flyers and websites and all of that type of stuff. So now is the time to really go hard about your business. If you're thinking about doing something, now is the time to get it done.
All right. So let me see what else. Oh, well, I think that's about it.
If anybody has any questions, I think we got like four more minutes here for the podcast. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them. This is the podcast. So if you're thinking about booking an interview, it's absolutely free right now. Get it now while it's free, because eventually it won't be free.
And don't complain about the prices. You had your chance to get it while it was free.
So right now they are free. You can book via my website, Executive Edge LLC. Click on the UE podcast tab, and there is a black button that says book now. I will be doing interviews. I said July through August, but I didn't pay attention that it's a lot of stuff going on at the end of June, Juneteenth, and all of those celebrations, and Father's Day, and all of that is going on at the end. Plus, my birthday is a national holiday.
For 2 weekends in a row.
And so that's going on. So I actually won't be interviewing until July. So I'll be doing the last 3 weekends in July, because the first weekend is the holiday weekend. So the last 3 weekends in July and the first 3 weekends in August. So on Fridays, I take booking slots between 7 and 10 p.m. Saturdays, I take booking slots all day from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. And then on Sundays, I take booking slots from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that's not going to last the whole time. Your interview would only be 30 minutes like it was today. The topic is always about business, whether it's your business, if you're thinking about starting a business, ministry, if you have a mission for the community that you want to get behind, you want to start a new movement, anything like that. We try to keep it positive. So if you want to book, make sure you go to executiveedgellc.com, to the UE podcast web page on that site, and then click on book now to book your free interview.
Free. Don't wait until it costs and then be like, well, why do we? No, you had your chance. Book it while it's free. I mean, it's a positive thing. There's a lot of people in Youngstown with businesses that I didn't even know people had those businesses until Facebook is a great way to find out a lot of businesses. Facebook, Twitter, a lot of people have businesses. They're starting in a community. All y'all with food.
Yes, food. We love food.
You see this? This does not come from starving myself. This is hungry, okay? 24/7. So if you want to get on the show, talk about your business, your ministry, talk about anything you want to do in the community. If you want to just come on to get knowledge of anything,
and
business-wise, advertise.
So bring me stuff. So when I book y'all interview and y'all have stuff that y'all want to advertise, make sure you have a little something for the host and co-host. Even
if it's just a little card, I will take business cards and keep them. If somebody, I might run into somebody later on and be like, oh, well, do you know anybody who do such and such? Let me flip through my wallet. And then your business is passed around. So thanks, Danielle, for let me interview you.
Yes.
I think this was a pretty good interview.
It was.
Even though I look glossy about the forehead.
We all do, girl.
Yes, I don't know. It must be that dad gene because everybody glossy. But I don't know if you got comments I can see.
I don't have any comments. Just people saying hello. I see there's people online. It's not really telling me who you are. If you're watching, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Unheralded Entrepreneur. Now, for the YouTube channel, The Unheralded is one word. So The Unheralded space Entrepreneur. That's the YouTube channel. Make sure you search it on YouTube. And when you get there, subscribe. All of the videos that we do, the interviews that we do are live, raw, and uncut. So there'll be no editing. So whatever mistakes, whatever we laugh at, whatever we say wrong, it's going to all be on there. But it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, so I would just like to plug Jewelry Rain before we leave. So we will be on Cassius Avenue today from 5 to 7 to promote my daughter and my niece's business, Jewelry Rain. They have children's jewelry available. Everything is under $5. It's there until it's gone. We're also highlighting Starlit Shimmer, which is a paparazzi jewelry line, and everything underneath that jewelry line is $1. So make sure you bring your little people out and have them come to the pop-up shop and support. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you have a blessed summer.
Deuces on here too.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.